Hi, this is Kendra from Pencil and Pigment, and today I wanted to talk about bullet journaling as it pertains to its sort of origin story. Now, this is a bullet journal I have from Archer and Olive, and I'm going to use this as a sample. But in 2014-ish, a gentleman by the name of Ryder Carroll was having trouble keeping organized and productive through some diagnosed learning disabilities. Now you can read more about him and sort of his journey on his webpage in the About section, and I will link all the different things I am talking about in the description box below. But he is a digital product designer and he lives in New York, and so he came up with this. So he has a YouTube page, and in 2015 he realized sort of that he needed a new way of being productive and keeping with productivity and writing everything down that would help him with his learning style. So he came up with the bullet journal, and it's a very specific sort of, I would say very cut and dry, sort of minimal foundation that you can build on and build upon, that can flourish with art and design and all the different things that he has created with this stuff. Now, he sort of recommends that you start out with an index page, which is kind of what I'm building, and you have a sort of key of what you're doing. So this would be, a task would be just a dot. When you complete it, you cross it through. I'm going to try and write quickly. If you migrate your task, it's an arrow that goes this way, and that means that you didn't finish it, so it's moving to a different time. If you need to schedule or reschedule something, you can do this type of arrow. If it becomes irrelevant and it's no longer necessary, you kind of cross through there. If it's an event, it's an open circle, and that's kind of cool. Notes are a dash. If this is a top priority, it is a dot with a star. And if it's something for inspiration, an exclamation point to your dot. And if something very specific, if you are designating this task to someone else. So this is sort of the key to how to bullet journal all the things you need to write and keep track of. So there would be a 2-page spread that would be your index of this, and basically sort of a table of contents of what's on each page. Now your pages are going to consist of, and this is again, I'm drawing 2-page spreads, and this is the spine down the center. So this would be a future log, and you would write down the month. So July would have a section, and August would have a section, September, October, and you would write down all the things you need to do utilizing this key in your future log. And then you would put in your index future log page, say this is page 4 and 5, you would write future log 4 and 5. There is a monthly, so here's another 2-page spread. This is the monthly log. And here's where you would write every day all the way down. So the 1st, the 2nd, the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th. We are currently on the 8th. And you would write the days of the week that correspond. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And you would write the whole monthly log on these 2 pages, and then utilizing the tasks key and how you would put that there, and make sure you include that in your index. So you would have your future log on page 4, 5. You would have your monthly log on page, 6, 7. And then you would have a daily log. So this would be for your days. And so this would be the 8th of July, This would be the 9th. And then you would write down all the tasks you have to do for that day. And then put it in here, your daily log, which would be page 8, 9. And then if you had something like mental inventory or something else additional, and this could be like projects, tasks, larger things that are very specific, like focus lists that are very specific for something that you're working on. That would be a 2-page spread, and all that would be included utilizing the key. Now, he came up with a book in 2018. Excuse me. And Google Books actually has a pretty good, excuse me, it's a 30-day or 30-page sort of the first 30 pages of this book if you want to look at it. But you can also go on his webpage. So bulletjournal.com, which he started in 2014, used to have a bunch of free stuff, and it still does. So there is a blog that's full of really cool ideas. You can sign up for his newsletter, and under his newsletter you will get tips and sort of sales promotional things, but you also get the first couple chapters of his book for free. So if you're doing a no-buy art supply like I am, I would recommend that maybe your library pick this up. Now my library just picked this up and it hasn't even been shelved yet, but I'm going to try and get a copy of it. I have an ebook from a different library that I'm looking at. It's such a strong foundation for how to do your tasks. He has a section on, like, if you are mitigating a task or moving it around, and let's say it went from daily to a different month to a different year, excuse me, it has all the information to move it around and move it forward and see where you're spending your time. Look at how you analyze your past, what you're working on currently. Excuse me, I apologize. And then figure out how you're going to do your productivity now to make sure that you hit your long-term and short-term goals for the future. I think this is such a really cool method. Now, he has a YouTube channel that has a bunch of videos. I will link everything. I will link all the resources I can find for you. And I would highly recommend that you watch some of his videos, because even if you don't bullet journal specifically, it can be a really cool setup for doing things like organizing school, organizing your home, organizing medical bills or medical appointments, anything where you are working on. If you're doing art and design and your future log, you're looking at it and you're like, I really want to publish a book. Let's say that's one of your long-term goals. I want to publish a children's book. I want to do a coloring book. I want to do, some sort of publication for my Etsy shop. I want to do something. So figure out your long-term goal. Maybe you're publishing a book. Figure out how to break down those chapters by month. Figure out everything you have to do within that month for that one chapter, and then chunk that again for what you need to do for that day. Keep breaking it down into further and further smaller steps, and everything becomes so much more manageable. And by the time you're done with the year, you could have a 12-chapter book. It could be a 24-page book if you're doing 2 pages per month, and part of its story and part of its illustration. There's a way to utilize this for your art and design creative needs that I think is absolutely phenomenal. And because he realized and was diagnosed with some of these different learning issues, that writing it down can be such a clever way to reinforce getting all this stuff done and analyzing it and breaking it apart so it's not quite so overwhelming, and you're sort of honing in on what's actually important. You're losing some of that busy work and doing some of the important stuff. Now, there is some other stuff on his webpage where you can pay for a class. There's a community that you can pay into. There's a course, an app. But I would highly recommend you check out his blog. And something really interesting with his blog, with every article, and these are all written by different people, it tells you how long it takes to read the article. So 5 ways to bullet journal to benefit your mental health takes 6 minutes to read. And I think that's a really cool thing. They show you how much of your time it will take. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Again, I will link everything in the description box below. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.